Alright, so Eleanor Roosevelt. Eleanor Roosevelt is an American politician, diplomat, activist, and was the first lady of the United States. As Eleanor Roosevelt grew up into her womanhood, her uncle Theodore Roosevelt, who was the 26th president, had taken her under his wing to help her understand the importance of politics and how to advocate for those that did not have the resources to help themselves. Once Eleanor Roosevelt learned as much as she could from her uncle Theodore Roosevelt, she decided to go out and help the misfortunate. Eleanor Roosevelt was married to Franklin D. Roosevelt, who was the 22nd president. Eleanor stepped up to the plate when her husband fell ill with polio and was practically acting as vice president. Eleanor Roosevelt was able to go around the country campaigning for her husband's agenda, which was helping people in need. Eleanor Roosevelt went around giving speeches trying to help those that were treated unfairly. Some of Eleanor Roosevelt's accomplishments was that she worked with the Consumers League to advocate for government workers in 1919 for better treatment and higher wages. Eleanor Roosevelt was the advocate for equality for all people. However, women's rights was the one thing that was very dear to her heart. Eleanor Roosevelt predominantly advocated for women's rights and equality rights for all people. Being an advocate for the women's rights was very important for Eleanor Roosevelt because she believed deep down that all women should be treated equally and had a fair say in politics. Eleanor Roosevelt was also a member of the Women's Trade Union League and was the women's division of the Democratic State Committee. Eleanor Roosevelt also the director of the Bureau of Women's Activity, which is an organization that fights for women's rights, educate and train women in understanding human rights and the law. Eleanor Roosevelt is the reason why the United States joined the United Nations, because she felt that everyone in the world should be treated equally and fairly. Eleanor Roosevelt even served as the United States delegate to the United Nations Assembly from 1945 to 1952. Eleanor Roosevelt was a great charismatic leader because she was able to influence people to get on board with her message, making sure people were treated fairly. Eleanor Roosevelt's charisma was so great that she would give inspiring speeches by having radio appearances and having public speeches in the park around the nation. Each week she would write for several newspaper posts, Seattle Times being one of them, about human rights, women's rights, factory workers' rights, and other issues that were very important to her. Eleanor's charisma was so inspiring that she was able to get important leaders nationwide, worldwide, and also local people to support her mission, which was helping people. Thanks to Eleanor Roosevelt, because she is the reason why women across the nation can vote and have a place in politics, which is why I chose her for my famous person of interest. Thank you for listening, everyone.
A+, please.